Whether you're gearing up for the next FTC season or simply refining your designs, understanding the benefits and drawbacks of a rack and pinion system can be a game changer for you and your team. I'm going to share how this mechanism can offer precision movement and strong linear forces for your robot, while also discussing some of the potential downsides. As a coach of several Inspire Award-winning and tournament-winning FTC teams, and with over a decade of experience in robotics education, I promise you that knowing these details give your team a competitive edge in your designs and strategies. We'll start today by breaking down how a rack and pinion system works, then explore some of the practical applications and considerations for using this system in your robot. Let's go get building. How does a rack and pinion system work? Well, as the name implies, you have a geared rack, which is essentially a long length of teeth. We call this our rack, and this is effectively a gear that's in a straight line. Inside, you have a pinion gear. And as this little pinion gear spins around, it causes our system to slide. If I flick it up one way, you see the rack starts moving in one direction, I stop it, and if I move the other way, rack starts moving in the other direction. You can use this in two ways. You can either go ahead and move the rack along, or you can hold the rack stationary and move the pinion gear. It's up to you, and it depends on what your individual use cases are. Some of the benefits or usefulness of using a rack and pinion system like this is that it's really simple to make. It's not very complex. You've got a pinion gear, you've got a rack, and you can be up and running in about 5 minutes. Be relatively space efficient because this motor does not take up a lot of space, and how you design this rack can be quite a small, thin rack compared to the other systems that exist. You've got really good precision over this. There's not a lot of backlash. To be able to move this forward and back, you're not going to be able to force this mechanism back very easily. And also, provided you've got a decent gear ratio, can provide a pretty high torque application. But the biggest drawback of a rack and pinion system is limited range. Of course, you're only limited to the length of the rack itself. So if I want a really long rack, I need to have a really long support system. And then you start running into these cantilever issues where the longer you get on this system, the more force you're going to be applying at those edge points. Another big issue with this is alignment. As you get further down on here, it can get harder to be able to align your pieces together and to be able to keep them nice and straight inside this system, especially because your seal gear starts to flex. And you can see that it can flex here on this side, but these back plates can really help mitigate some of that. Another big issue with this is if you don't provide some back countering force, it can fall down due to some gravity.